There was a time when politics was just politics, debates, elections, speeches, policies, something people followed from a distance, something that lived inside parliaments and newsrooms. But that time is over. Today, politics has moved out of institutions and into people's identities. It has transformed from a system of governance into a system of belief. And in this new era, two very different figures stand on opposite ends of the spectrum, yet strangely reflect the very same global shift. Donald Trump and Zohran Mamdani. We are living in the rise of political faith. Not faith in God, not faith in religion, but faith in political identity. And when faith enters politics, it changes everything. Because faith is not based on negotiation. Faith is built on conviction. And conviction, once emotional, does not want to be questioned. This shift didn't happen overnight. It grew quietly, fueled by broken trust, economic instability, cultural anxiety, and a digital world that amplified emotion over reason. Institutions lost credibility. Governments felt distant. Media felt manipulated. The future felt uncertain. And when societies feel uncertain, people do not seek managers. They seek meaning. They seek figures who represent something larger than policy. They seek symbols. This is how political faith is born. Donald Trump did not rise just because of conservative politics. He rose because millions of people saw in him something deeper than policy. They didn't just vote for him, they believed in him. To his base, Trump symbolizes resistance against an elite system they believe abandoned them, ignored them, and mocked them. He represents defiance, strength, and disruption. He is not admired for being perfect, but for being raw. In their eyes, even his flaws are proof that he is not one of them. Criticism against him feels like criticism against them. Attacks on him feel like attacks on their identity. His political presence has become a form of collective belonging, not just leadership, but loyalty. And on the other side of the political universe, Zohran Mamdani represents a very different, yet structurally similar phenomenon. For his supporters, he is not just another progressive politician. He is a symbol of moral resistance against economic inequality, corporate power, housing injustice, and generational struggle. He speaks to young people burdened by rent, debt, and limited opportunity. He channels frustration into vision, not only offering policies, but a narrative of justice, dignity, and systemic transformation. When Mamdani speaks, his supporters don't just hear proposals. They hear purpose. They hear hope in a system they feel has failed them. Trump represents restoration faith. Mamdani represents transformation faith. Different stories, same psychological foundation. Both arise from the same environment, a world where people no longer feel protected by traditional institutions, so they emotionally anchor themselves to political symbols instead. In this new reality, rallies feel like religious gatherings. Slogans feel like scripture. Support becomes devotion. Opponents become enemies, not just of ideas, but of identity. That is the core of political faith. People are no longer just voting for a future. They are defending who they believe they are. Trump's followers defend a vision of national strength, cultural continuity, and lost greatness. Mamdani's supporters defend a vision of equality, progressive justice, and systemic reform. Both are driven not only by logic, but by emotional belonging. And in a world fueled by social media, this faith is amplified. Algorithms don't reward calm debate. They reward outrage. They reward passion. They reward tribalism. So belief isn't just formed, it's reinforced daily through viral speeches, through online debates, through digital echo chambers, each side inside its own curated reality. Each side reinforced in its own narrative. Each side convinced their vision is not just politically correct, but morally righteous. This is why political dialogue today feels impossible, because most people aren't debating ideas anymore. They're defending belief systems, and belief systems don't compromise easily. This doesn't make Trump or Mamdani prophets. It makes them products of a historical moment, a moment where uncertainty transforms politics into ideology and ideology into identity. And the deeper danger is not their existence. It's when faith replaces critical thinking. Because when political loyalty becomes unconditional, when leaders are no longer questioned but worshipped, when disagreement becomes betrayal, democracy weakens. Not from one side or the other, but from the loss of independent thought. This is not just an American shift. This pattern exists globally, in rising populist movements, in progressive revolutions, in strongman politics, in ideological radicalization. Different languages, different cultures, same psychological engine. People are no longer just participating in politics. They are searching for meaning inside it, and Trump and Mamdani are reflections of that hunger. Not for power, but for belonging. Not for policy, but for purpose. And this is the defining question of our time. Will political faith lead societies to renewal or division? History shows it can do both. Faith can unite. Faith can destroy. Faith can inspire. Faith can blind. The answer will not be decided by Trump alone. It will not be decided by Mamdani alone. It will be decided by how societies learn to balance belief with reason, passion with responsibility, identity with dialogue. Because politics has changed. It no longer asks only for your vote. It asks for your heart. And in this new age of political faith, the real challenge is not choosing a side, but making sure belief never replaces humanity itself.